Alright, I want to share a few thoughts about the story of Adam in Genesis chapter 2 and 3. So, here's us today. We modern scientific folk living in 2012. Now, we look back on history up until about the 1st century and we have a nice solid record of things. The closer we get to the 1st century, the murkier it gets. So let's just mark this about 1 CE. So we have a solid history of events, but after that it starts to get murky and we don't necessarily know exactly how historical events occurred. So what we have to go from are these ancient texts. We have tons of them, from ancient Mesopotamia, ancient Rome and Greece, ancient Orient, Persia, and one of those texts, of course, is the Bible. Very popular book, and it points back to lots of events from about 0 to 2000 BCE. And one of the things that it points back to is a historical or symbolic figure of human beings named Adam. So here's Adam. Today, we look back, and many people like to argue that Adam was literal or Adam was symbolic. So we have two different interpretations. So we have Adam was a literal human being, and over here we have Adam was a figure, a symbolic figure of ancient Israel or of humanity altogether. Either way, Adam's not a real human person. Now, I want to try to move past this whole argument because it's stupid, for one, but more importantly because both interpretations, the literal and the figurative, point to the same truth. Alright, so let's start with the literal interpretation of Adam. If you interpret Adam as a literal figure, what matters most, as the biblical authors point to, is that through Adam came sin and brokenness. This sort of dysfunction of the world, right? That we're not exactly who we're supposed to be. As Scott McKnight says, we're cracked icons of God. So through this literal person came sin into the world. Now, if you take the story of Adam as symbolic and figurative, what matters still in that story is the exact same thing. What matters from the story of a symbolic Adam is that it explains the reality of sin. And this is only true because it can be confirmed by our human experience. This is what matters in the story in Genesis, not whether or not Adam is historical, but whether or not the truth of the story of human brokenness and sin matches what we experience today.